Good morning. Following on from the UK government's announcement yesterday that they will not continue to supply free school meals, we here at Cultaholic and at Triple Jump are donating enough funds to pay for 1,000 meals for children in need, thanks to Fair Share. Now, Fair Share redistributes surplus food to 10,000 plus charity and community groups, and we are so proud to be supporting them today. If you'd like to find out more, or if you would like to join us in donating, you can go to fairshare.org.uk/activate. There is a link in the description below. Thank you. Here is your wrestling news. AEW pulls talent exposed to COVID-19. A former WWE star officially signs with Impact Wrestling, and there was a big title change and a return on last night's NXT. We'll talk about it in a bit. Expect spoilers. We start with Joey Janella, who has been pulled from future AEW Dark and Dynamite tapings as a result of possible exposure to the coronavirus. AEW put out a tweet saying the following: AEW and Joey Janella learned today that he had exposure to a known COVID-19 positive person at an independent show. For that reason, we are pulling him until such time as he is cleared to return, consistent with our protocols. Seen this happening quite a bit over the last week or so. We had the GCW Collective weekend just the other weekend, 3 days worth of wrestling, 100 plus wrestlers and talent and performers all in the same place. We heard that somebody had tested positive there, and GCW encouraged everybody to get COVID-19 tests that were at the show. We've heard of a few then who have since been tested positive for COVID-19 as a result of interactions either before, during, or after GCW's The Collective weekend. And we've seen other companies, very much like AEW, taking action to prevent the further spread. Ring of Honor have stopped people who were part of GCW The Collective weekend from competing for the Ring of Honor tapings. Ring of Honor have some very stringent rules in place regarding COVID-19, and they just said no to people who were part of GCW where that positive test went down. And AEW doing something similar here with Joey Janella. If you want to find out more, when we get more information on this, we'll let you know at cultaholic.com. Last night, the Bound for Glory press pass took place as we got set for this Saturday's pay-per-view event from Impact Wrestling. It was during the press call that it was revealed that Dina Perez has officially signed with the company. She's been not working with a contract for quite some time, but now she is signed on the bottom line and she is booked to be a part of Impact for some time to come. Really exciting turn of events for Dina Perez, one that she was incredibly excited about online once the announcement went down. She's the reigning Knockouts champion for Impact Wrestling, and you know what? If you compare back in the start of this year, where Perez was somebody who was really unhappy with where she was in NXT, to now where she's having these massive matches against Jordynne Grace, among others. She's got a huge match with Kylie Rae this weekend as part of Bound for Glory. It's great to see somebody who went through a bit of a bad time at the start of the year, coming out, following their release from WWE, finding their feet and just going for it. It's really cool to see. And she's been an excellent addition to the Impact Knockouts division. We'll find out more about her title defense on Saturday. She puts it all on the line against Kylie Rae at Bound for Glory. You can watch along with us because Adam Pacitti will be streaming live reactions to Impact Wrestling's biggest show of the year on our Cultaholic YouTube channel. So Dina Perez now with Impact Wrestling, but how goes AEW's hunt for Mance Warner? We talked about this in a previous news video. MLW's Mance Warner making some real headway, not just in Major League Wrestling, but around the independent circuit as well. He was on Cultaholic Desert Island Graps the other week, asking him what 3 wrestling matches he'd watch if he was stranded on a desert island. We had some drinks together. It was lovely. You can listen to it on the podcast feed. Anyway, so where does it stand on AEW and Mance Warner? Because it looked as if Mance was heading over. That doesn't look like it's happening, as Major League Wrestling have refused to release Mance Warner from his current contract. This comes from Body Slam, who say, quote, "While Warner is currently under contract with MLW, sources have confirmed to me that he is still trying to get out of his deal and that lawyers are now involved. I reached out to MLW for a statement on the situation, asking about lawyer involvement, whether the company expected Warner to be present for their upcoming Restart TV tapings, and if there had been any further negotiation between the two parties. However, the only comment I received from the company was, quote, "All we're saying is he, Mance Warner, remains under a deal." I also asked MLW representatives how much time was left on Mance Warner's current contract, which they also chose not to comment on. MLW very much sticking to their guns when it comes to keeping Mance Warner on the books. Not long to go now until America goes to the polls for the election, and the outcome of this election could have ramifications within the wrestling industry. So on Talk is Jericho, Andrew Yang, who is working with Joe Biden, was talking about some of the conversations that he would be looking to have in the event of a Biden win. He says, quote, "If we win, I'm going to be in a position where I can call up the Secretary of Labor in this case. It's the National Labor Relations Board, and then bring suit against WWE and say, hey, I think you're misclassifying your employees here, and the damages would be really significant." So the former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang, now working with Joe Biden, is very much ready to take WWE to task on the whole independent contractors thing. He says, quote, "We may need to have some brave performer or ex-performer come forward and say, look, here are the practices. And I've been contacted by folks who are like, look, I believe in this, and I'm at a point in my career where they can't do anything to me. So let's have at this." Because customarily for a National Labor Relations Board action, it typically has to be an employee that initiates. So that's one of the trickier elements of this. But I'm very confident that we can get there, because there are a lot of people that recognize this is wrong and has been going on for far too long. You can hear the whole conversation with Andrew Yang on Talk is Jericho. That podcast is available now. Remember back a few weeks ago when Charlie Caruso and Angel Garza were doing all the flirting? They were like, oh, hello, Charlie. And Charlie was like, oh, hello, Angel Garza. It was a bit more salacious than that. Stopped, didn't it? Weird that. A fan went onto Twitter to say, I know WWE just randomly stopped storylines, but what happened to the Angel Garza Charlie storyline? It just disappeared one day. Charlie Caruso, quote, retweeted this, just put, it also randomly stopped. I think Charlie Caruso's a bit annoyed that she doesn't get to flirt with Angel Garza anymore. To be honest, I'm exactly the same. I don't get to flirt with Angel Garza at all, and quite frankly, I'm livid. And finally, NXT Spoilers ahoy! So, if you haven't watched NXT yet and you don't want some of last night's shenanigans spoiled for you, this is your jumping off point. I wish you a good day, stay safe. If you can't be kind, be patient. Love you, bye. You still here? Cool. New tag champs! Get in! Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, the Britam Brawlers, they finally flipping did it! Brand new NXT Tag Team Champions. So it all went down last night after the Undisputed Era were attacked backstage by a mystery assailant. This then led to Oney and Danny getting that tag title shot instead of the Era, and this mystery assailant costing Breezango the match and consequently their tag team gold. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, new tag team champions, and at the end of the night, stood between them, the mystery assailant revealed themselves to be Pat McAfee, who said that he had nothing in the books for WWE in the foreseeable future. Oh, you little trickster. I see you, you little trickster. So Pat's back, and it looks as if he has sided with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Now, we know that this looked as if it was going to be Pat McAfee siding with Ridge Holland, bringing in Ridge as a hired gun, which I really liked that setup, because it was Ridge Holland, former rugby player, and you've got Pat McAfee, who's the sports guy. That worked for me. But obviously Ridge Holland got hurt, so that takes him out of the equation. So this looks as if this is the fix going forward. So it looks as if Pat McAfee may be siding up with Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, which is a lovely little combo, that. Big fan of that. We'll talk more about it on NXT Graded on the Cultaholic YouTube channel a little bit later on today. And Jack will be here as well to talk about AEW Dynamite Graded as well. And I'm sure he'll have things to say on Le Dîner Debonair. I know. I loved it too. Stay safe. Love you, bye.